guys, welcome back to my channel. I know today's Thursday and I normally upload on Tuesday, but Tuesday I had something that just had more priority than my video. But I'm here now and I'm finally gonna upload this week's video. So this week's video, again, welcome to my channel for all the newcomers here today. In this video, I'm gonna take you guys through memory lane once again, like I did last time with the El Chavo video. This time, however, we're gonna go down to memory lane when we were wee little kids, babies, infants, toddlers, you name it. And Sesame Street was all we loved. I mean, I grew up on Sesame Street, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys grew up on it too. Today, I'm actually going to do a portrait of some of the classic Sesame Street characters that we know of. And if you grew up with Sesame Street, you either had one of two things. You either had a Sesame Street shirt that like had the character like right here and like the eyes and the mouth and whatever color, be it Elmo, Cookie Monster, Ernie, Bert, Grouch, Oscar the Grouch, you name it. You either had that or you're like me and you had a Sesame Street character plushie. And believe it or not, I still have my Elmo plushie that I had when I was younger. I still have it. It's still with me. It's been through a lot of rough things, but it's still in really good condition. So as I do this portrait, it might take you guys down to memory lane and it might fill you guys up with nostalgia. So let's get the Sesame Street party started. Let's do it. Okay, so like most of my screen cap study videos that you guys have seen me do, you know that I sketch the drawing first with a 0.5 mechanical pencil and do the black outline with my Sakura Pigma Micron Fineliners and my Black Fine Tip Point Sharpies. And if you guys have seen me do this before, you pretty much know the drill. But the reason why I didn't film that process for you guys is because I didn't want to bore you guys with that process. Plus, the video would have probably taken forever. And also, this process requires like a lot of concentration. And once I do the line art, I erase the pencil, go over some of the line art again, and then I go in with my blue painter's tape that you guys see on my sketchbook right there. But before I put the painter's tape on though, like I said, if you guys have seen my videos before of where I do this, you guys know what's up. But for all the newcomers, what I do to remove some of the tape's tackiness, I put the tape on my arm first, massage it a little bit, and then I rip it off my arm and stick it onto the paper. The reason why you want to do that is because it just removes some of the tape's tackiness. It makes it easier to remove, and also you prevent the paper from ripping. Plus, making sure you have painter's tape on your sketchbook, it just makes it so that the paper doesn't move, warp like a tortilla, and also when you remove it, it adds like a picture frame look to it, so it makes it look more professional. I also had a reference photo of the portrait on my phone, so I wouldn't leave anything out. And the reference photo that I had of this image, it had a blue kind of tealish background, and it says Sesame Street and the ABCs and all that. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to leave it plain white so that the characters, really stood out. Now let's move on to the coloring process that you guys have probably seen me do as I explain the sketching process. So for materials, I mainly used gouache, watercolors, a little bit of marker, and acrylic markers. I used my gouache from Himimiya, my Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors, and for paint markers, I used my Copic Ecrayas, my Sharpie Creative markers, and my Faithful Uniposcas. For water-based markers, I used a little bit of Crayola Super Tips, my Kuretake Zig Brushables, and for Cookie Monster's Cookie Bag, for the red, I used my red Prismacolor Premier alcohol marker. So I did use wet mediums in this, and the reason why I wanted to use mostly wet mediums on this, because the majority of this portrait is wet mediums, is because one of my art goals for 2025 was to up my game and to make sure that I pretty much upgraded some of my stuff in terms of art. So recently I was on Amazon, and around Monday, my paintbrush cleaner came in the mail, and I love my new paintbrush cleaner now, you guys. It's something that I saw on Pinterest and YouTube Shorts, and I heard that it was a really popular thing on TikTok, but I don't have TikTok. I just heard that it was a really popular thing. It's this paintbrush cleaner where it has like a water bottle on it. I'll show you guys a pic. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. If you guys haven't seen it. But for all you artists out there, it's basically a water bottle, and it has like a how do I call this? Like a little board, and like as soon as you use the water out of that water bottle, you just push a little button, and it removes the dirty paint water, and it refills it. So oh my gosh, that thing, oh my god, I love it. And I recently got new paintbrushes from Arteza, and yeah, I pretty much like upgraded some of my stuff, and I threw out some old stuff because you know, I wanted to start the year with fresh new materials. And for those of you who grew up with Sesame Street, you know that a lot of these characters have fur texture or feather texture or like a fuzzy texture, and so that's why I wanted to use acrylics and wet art mediums in this drawing, because I wanted to replicate that. I really wanted to replicate that because since everyone knows and loves these characters, I knew that if I messed one of them up, even a teeny little bit, the whole portrait would be off. Like it would just be gone. Bye. As I color the portrait for you guys, I am gonna remind you about Sesame Street. I'm gonna take you guys to a memory lane here with Mariana and talk about some of the main characters in the show, because like I feel like the show has like added new characters every season, but like I'm only gonna talk about some of the classic characters because like Sesame Street now has like more than 100 characters. Last time I checked, they have 150 characters, which is a lot. So I'm only gonna talk about the characters that I have on this portrait. So the characters that we have here are Elmo, Big Bird, Ernie, Bert, Cookie Monster, and Oscar the Grouch. So Elmo is a small, furry, red Muppet with a high-pitched voice and a love for hugs. I love Elmo. He's my favorite character in Sesame Street. Then we have Big Bird, of course, who is the large yellow bird with feathers, a long neck, known for his curiosity and his friendliness. Cookie Monster, a blue Muppet with a voracious appetite for cookies, known for his catchphrase, and I'm going to try to do the impression, "Me want cookie." That was probably not the best impression, but you guys can let me know in the comments if I butchered it, but it's okay. It's okay. Cookie Monster is also one of my favorite characters, and it's one of the characters that I relate to the most because I love chocolate chip cookies, and oh yeah. Now we go to Oscar the Grouch, a green grumpy Muppet who lives in a trash can and loves all things dirty and gross. He kind of reminds me of the Grinch, not the 2018 Grinch, but the older Grinch from 2001? 2001, I think it is. Because he's always angry and he's always pretty disgusting. He's pretty dirty. He's pretty gross. And, like, I think those two could be cousins, if you ask me. For the green towel that you see next to my sketchbook, it's just a little towel that I have to clean my brush, so don't worry about it. Okay. Now let's move on to Bert and Ernie, two Muppet friends who share an apartment and have different personalities, with Bert being grumpy and Ernie being cheerful. These next three characters, actually, that I'm going to talk about are not in the portrait, but they're pretty classic in Sesame Street. You have Grover, a blue Muppet with a goofy personality and a love for helping others. Count, a vampire-like Muppet with a love for counting and a spooky laugh. Abby Cataby, a pink sparkly fairy Muppet with a love for magic and adventure. Now let's individually talk about Ernie and Bert. Ernie lives in the basement apartment of 123 Sesame Street with his best friend Bert. Ernie is best known for his practical jokes, his love of baths, and his rubber ducky. Bert is the long-suffering best friend of Ernie. He's the more serious, the more focused and practical of the two, kind of like how most human beings are today. And he considers himself the voice of reason in their friendship, which everybody needs that kind of friend, okay? These are just a few of the many lovable characters that make up the Sesame Street gang. And here's a little snippet of Sesame Street. Welcome to the sunny days and friendly faces of Sesame Street. Join Elmo, Cookie Monster, and their lovable friends as they teach us valuable lessons about kindness, empathy, and understanding. From Big Bert's curious nature to Oscar the Grouch's grumpy demeanor, each character brings their unique personality to the neighborhood, with catchy songs, engaging stories, and plenty of laughter. Sesame Street is the perfect destination for kids, and kids at heart to learn and grow together. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Sesame Street character is and what you love about Sesame Street, you know? All in all, I was really happy with this portrait. I think that's something that I have never done before because I knew that I wanted to give you guys a little glimpse of my childhood as well, like I did with my video of El Chavo del Ocho. But I wanted to give you guys a glimpse into like my American childhood because like for those of you who don't know, I'm actually Mexican American, so I feel like I had two childhoods, a Mexican childhood and an American childhood, because like I grew up with some of the classic American programs like Dora the Explorer, the Backyardigans, Go Diego Go, Yo Gabba Gabba, you name it, I grew up with it. But in terms of Mexican programs that I grew up with, obviously El Chavo del Ocho, El Chapulín Colorado, what else? Doki, for all my Mexican viewers, if you remember Doki, you know. But yeah, like I grew up with those kinds of different programs, and I know that speaking of like some of the Mexican programs, for all my American viewers is like, what is she talking about? But yeah, that was pretty much like what my childhood, you know, that was pretty much my childhood for me. So now let's go back to the drawing itself. For Cookie Monster's cookies, I used my watercolors, and for the brushes, you guys, I primarily use really thin paint brushes for like the small little nooks and crannies. But in terms of the greenish brush that you guys saw me use before, it's just a brush that I got with my gouache set from Himi, and it's in number 4, and I really like it because like it's really good at covering up space. It's really nice. And then another paintbrush that I used in this video is this brush from Curate Color that I got at Hobby Lobby. And it's really beautiful because like it's super thin, but at the same time, you know, it just does the job super well. Now, you're going to see that when I color Oscar the Grouch, I made a rookie mistake in terms of using my brushes. I used the really thin brush at first, but then I was like, you know what? This is going to take forever. Let's just go with a big brush and a thicker brush. So that's what I did. Now, I love this drawing, not only because I stepped out of my comfort zone and wanted to upgrade my art skills a little bit, but a lot of you guys probably know this. I rarely use my wet art mediums in my videos just because, you know, most of the screen cap studies that I've done, a lot of them are with marker and with colored pencil. There was one, however, where I used mainly watercolors, and that was my Sailor Moon screen portrait video. But oh wait, for my Mufasa video, I did use my gouache, and that was the first time that I actually experimented with gouache, because like before this video, you guys, like during if you guys have seen my Mufasa screen cap study video, you guys know what I'm talking about. But in that video, it was the first time that I actually used my gouache set from Himi Miya, and oh wow, if you guys have never used gouache before, it is basically like acrylic paint and watercolors like came together and had a little baby. Oh my gosh, because like from the look of it, it looks like acrylic paint, but it actually works like watercolor. So yeah, that's pretty much a little snippet for you guys about gouache. Now, in terms of the paintbrushes, I used fairly small paintbrushes, and like I said, you guys, I did upgrade some of my paintbrushes. I didn't use them in this video, but you might see me use them in future videos. But yeah, I did upgrade my paintbrushes. I got new paintbrushes just because, you know, I wanted to start the year off with new materials, new things, new stuff, you name it. I wanted to start 2025 on this channel right. I wanted to do it right, and that's what I did. Now, the only two characters that actually have clothes on are Ernie and Bert. And I gotta say this, you guys, like, their outfits, I don't know why, but they remind me of little kids. I don't know why. Like, like the stripes and like the plaid and stuff. Like some of the things that they wear in the show, like in Sesame Street, if you have kids, like for all my parent viewers out there, if you guys actually have kids, Sesame Street is a great show for kids. I mean, not only do they teach them about kindness and like all the life lessons that they're going to use later on in life, but they're also going to teach them their ABCs, their numbers. Like, it's going to teach them everything. It's going to help them get through school later on in life. But yeah, I mean, that's Sesame Street for everybody. In terms of like some of the shows in Sesame Street that I grew up with, Elmo's World. Oh my gosh, Elmo's World was my life as a kid. What else? Cause like Sesame Street has like different movies and DVDs, and so okay, I'm gonna take some of you way back in the day when VHS tapes and VCRs were still a thing. I remember when I was a kid, my parents had a VCR. And I still watched VHS tapes. This was when I was like 2 or 3, 4 years old. I don't know. But my parents got me this VHS tape that said Sesame Street All-Star Alphabet. And oh my gosh, I loved that VHS tape. I don't have it anymore, but oh my god, if I had it still, I would just be dying. But that little movie, like it says in the title, it teaches you the alphabet. It's like, okay, what word starts with this letter? And oh my gosh, it was so cute. Like, I loved it. But I mean, we still have that VCR, but we don't have the VHS tapes anymore. The only VHS tape that we have now is like my parents' wedding. So yeah, but I know some of you who are like in your teens are like, wait, what the heck is a VHS tape and a VCR? You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, but ask your parents what it is and they'll tell you, okay? Or maybe I could tell you. A VCR was way back in the day. It was the Netflix of the day, okay? Just to like put it simply, that's really what it was. And then a VHS tape is like, you know, the CDs that you watch where it's either a soundtrack or a movie. That's what it was. It was just this like square rectangle-ish thing that kind of looked like a cassette tape but bigger. That's what it was. You can Google VHS tape. I'm pretty sure I'm giving a really bad explanation, but that's what it was. Okay. Okay, so here I am finally coloring Oscar the Grouch, and this is the part where I said I used a really thin brush at first, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just go with a thicker brush. Let's just go with it. Yeah. Now you're gonna see me move back and forth with my brush a little bit. This is because I was wetting it so that the gouache was a little bit more intense, because I wanted my gouache to just like go on pretty smoothly, and that's one thing that you do with either watercolor or gouache. If you want the color to be like super intense, wet the brush and then just go in there with your pigment, and it's gonna make the color go boom, here it is. Like, it's just gonna make the color that much more intense. But yeah, that was pretty much the coloring process for some of these characters. Now you're gonna see that for some of these characters, I decided to go with my acrylic markers and even go in with my water-based and alcohol-based markers, as well as the acrylic-based markers. because what I like about acrylic markers is that they dry really, really quickly and you can layer on top of them. So, and they're also pretty easy to work with. So, and this just also prevented me from getting more stuff out and using a lot of art mediums. So, it was just a time saver for me, basically. But yeah, I was really happy with how this drawing came out. I love the intensity in all of these characters. Like I said, you guys, these characters are classics in everybody's eyes. The one thing that I was really focused on was making sure that I nailed the furry and feathery texture on Oscar, Elmo, Cookie Monster, and Big Bird, since they're, I want to say like skin, since their skin is either fur or feathers. Sorry guys, I was drinking my coffee. But these characters, they have a fur and a feathery texture. And so I knew that with gouache and acrylics, it was gonna look spot on. And then for Ernie and Bert, for Bert, I did end up going with a yellow acrylic marker. But for Ernie himself, I think I used, I did use gouache. Yeah, I used gouache for Ernie. But that was really my main goal, was making sure that I nailed the texture on each character, because like I said, you guys, these characters are classics and I didn't want to mess that up in any way, shape, or form. But I was really like making sure that the textures were on point, that they really did look like they had fur or feathers or like a fuzzy kind of texture. And like I said, you guys, let me know in the comments down below who your favorite character is. I'm pretty sure that everybody has their favorite. So, yeah. And like I said, you guys, if you grew up with Sesame Street, be it on watching it on the TV, on a VHS tape like myself, on DVD, then you pretty much know the deal, that these characters are here to put on a show. And here's the thing that also drove me kind of nuts. Kermit the Frog from the Muppets, he would occasionally show up in Sesame Street, which was kind of the thing I don't get. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be pretty technical and be like, oh, technically Kermit the Frog is a Muppet. Yes, I know that. But he would often show up on Sesame Street, which was kind of weird for me. And let me know in the comments if you guys kind of agree with me on this one. But I feel like Kermit the Frog, I don't know. This is just my weird brain. I feel like he's not really a most beloved character on Sesame Street. And I know you guys are going to get technical with me on this one and be like, oh, he's a Muppet, whatever. But I don't know. I just don't think that he went really well with Sesame Street, in my personal opinion. Okay, so moving on to the drawing. This is where I finally go in with the markers. Again, you guys, the reason why I went in with marker for the rest of this drawing was because I wanted to save some time. I wanted to make the process a little bit quicker for you guys. And also, I didn't want this video to be super, super long, because that's one thing that I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid making the videos feel an hour long, even though I'm for the rest of this voiceover, I'm kind of talking to you guys podcast style. But still, I wanted to save some time and also prevent the video from being super, super long. Now, for the trash can that Oscar is in, I used a gray Kuretake Zig brushable. And I love the brushables just because, like the name itself, it says both ends of the marker are brush tips. However, one end is darker and the other end is lighter. So I used the lighter side, and I feel like it really did resemble that it was metal. I don't know what kind of trash can Oscar is living in, but I'm pretty sure it's a metal one. So yeah, it did the job, okay? Now, I know that I probably messed up on Bert's outfit, and because Bert's outfit, within itself is just a sweater with a white turtleneck, but I'm pretty sure I messed up on the proportions of the stripes, which I think, in my opinion, they don't look, it doesn't look bad, But I knew in my head that I'm like, he has more stripes on that sweater than you think, Mariana. Like, come on. But at the same time, I was trying to not beat myself up, and I was like, you know what? It looks pretty good. Like, you just make the process simple for you. Like, you just simplified the process for yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did. So for Bert's sweater, okay, so let me jump back to Ernie's sweater really quick. For Ernie's sweater, I used my Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors. But for Bert's sweater, since it's more monochrome-ish, I did use my Kuretake Zig brushables, just to kind of like give the feel that it's actually knitted or something like that. But yeah, I kind of wanted to do that with my markers. And yeah, I think Bert's sweater came out pretty good. But in the reference photo that I had, there were more blue stripes than the ones that I colored, because I only colored 2 blue stripes. That was definitely on me. Like, I apologize for that, you guys. I did mess up on the stripe proportions, but it's okay. It's okay. It's a portrait. It's fine. It's okay. Excuse me. So, yeah, that was pretty much Bert as a whole. If you ask me, though, Bert, I feel like, is the epitome of a Sesame Street character that I feel like every adult can relate to. Like, I just feel like he's very technical, and he's very focused in some way. He's like the more realistic out of all the Sesame Street characters. He's not like all cheerful and all that. Like, he's all serious, you know what I mean? Like, I barely see the dude smile. And also, like, Bert's body type kind of reminds me of a banana. I don't know why, but it just does. It just does, For Bert's fuzzy texture on his body, I did use a acrylic marker. Same thing for Big Bird. And I used a Sharpie creative marker, and that was a yellow one. But yeah, I think I nailed the fuzziness with Bert. So, yeah. And Bert, I mean, he looks good. He looks pretty good. And as you guys can see in the video, I did end up first using my Uni Posca, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. And actually, like I said, you guys, my goal with this whole drawing was to like replicate, be it the fuzzy textures, the fur textures, the feathers, you name it. I wanted to make sure that I nailed it and that I got it right. And I knew that my Posca, at first I thought it was going to make the cut, but it didn't. It really didn't. So I decided to, for Bert's face, use my Sharpie creative marker. But, I mean, for Bert's hands, I did use my Uni Posca just because, the tip was better. It was going to be much more controllable. So, yeah. Okay, now moving on to Bert's face, finally. So for Bert's face, like I said, you guys, I did use my Sharpie creative marker, like you guys are going to see me do here right now. And all in all, Bert came out really good. Like, he looks good. He's good looking. Yeah. Also, you guys, I want to thank every single one of you for subscribing to my channel. To all my 17 subscribers, we're so close to 20. Oh my gosh, 3 more people, and then I got 20. That's mind-blowing. But yeah, to everybody who subscribed, I absolutely thank you guys for subscribing. I feel the love, and I give it back at you. Like, thank you so much. You all mean the world to me. Yeah, 17 subscribers. Holy smokes. Just wait till we get to 20. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like I said, you guys, we only need 3 more people to subscribe, and then we got 20. But yeah, thank you guys for all the love and the support that you guys have given me. When I first started my channel last year, thank you guys for all that love. And like I said, you guys, I feel the love and I give it back. So, in a good way, I give you guys that love back in a really, really good way. So, yeah. Okay, now we're moving on to Cookie Monster's cookie bag, which I used my yellow Crayola Super Tip for. for the cookies lettering, and for the yellow stripe of the bag, I used my yellow Copic Acrea, and that shade of yellow is in lemon yellow. So yeah, that was the shade that I used for the stripe. And then for part of Elmo's fur, I did use at first a red Copic Acrea, and that shade was in tomato red. That shade was in tomato red, but in the end I wanted to make the process a little bit quicker, and so what I did was for the rest of Elmo's body I used my red Sharpie creative marker. So here you guys can see I'm finally coloring Elmo, and I'm sorry that I blocked out this part for you guys and coloring his legs. I didn't realize that my sketchbook was a little too low for you guys to see, but I fixed it later on. But yeah, as you guys can see, I'm coloring Elmo's legs first and foremost. And also, you guys, I just realized that my sketchbook is almost up. Like, I literally have 5 pages left, and that's front and back. So who knows, maybe in the end I might do a sketchbook tour and show you guys like all the drawings of my sketchbook, some of which are not on my channel, but some of them are either on YouTube or my Instagram. You guys can see it all there. So yeah, that was pretty much my little tidbit for my sketchbook. But don't worry, guys, I do have a new sketchbook next in line now, so I'm really excited to use it. It's a little bigger, so I'm gonna be able to get a lot of good use out of it. Okay, moving on to the drawing. I'm still with Elmo, and this is the part where I fixed it and made sure that you guys could see the whole picture. So yeah, going in with Elmo's red, furry texture. He's so cute. I love Elmo. He's adorable. Like I said, you guys, Elmo is my favorite character, and I still have my Elmo plushie. Like, I still have it, so yeah. And like I said, you guys, if you grew up with Sesame Street, you either had a plushie or a Sesame Street shirt where I think I said this in the intro. Yes, I did say it in the intro, where it's like the character's eyes like right in front, and then it has the mouth. So if you ask me, that shirt, like those kinds of shirts, Sesame Street shirts, like would be great Halloween costumes. Like, you don't even have to say I'm this person. Like, people can just look at the shirt and be like, oh, you're Oscar the Grouch, or oh, you're Elmo. Like, those shirts are great Halloween costumes in my opinion. But yeah, now sketching Elmo and Cookie Monster, and Oscar the Grouch, of course, they all had their how do I say this, difficulties. Just because, like I said, they have a furry texture to them, like they're basically furry. So I think I mentioned this in my Mufasa video as well. Anything resembling fur is gonna have lines that stick out, and you want to use materials that resemble a furry texture. So I knew that gouache and watercolors were not gonna cut it for Elmo, Cookie Monster, and Big Bird. I know I used gouache for Oscar, but that's because, I wanted him to look good. I wanted him to be good looking even though he lives in a trash can. Okay? So, yeah. Now that I finished with Elmo, we officially have 2 characters left to go. Yay! So for Cookie Monster's cookie bag, I used my Prismacolor Premier red marker in crimson red, and I think it was the perfect red for that cookie bag. Originally, I wanted to do a blue cookie bag to kind of like he's eating a Chips Ahoy cookie bag, but the reference photo that I had, it showed that it was red and not blue, so I wanted to go with the red. Let me know in the comments down below if you think the blue would have also looked really good. I think blue would have also looked like mwah. But I knew that if I did blue, it was gonna blend with Cookie Monster, and that was probably not a good idea. That was probably a no bueno. So yeah, I went with the red, and it still looked really, really good. It still looked good, and I like the fact that I used an alcohol marker for this. Now for Cookie Monster himself, he is blue. Blue. Okay, So for his fur, I used my blue Sharpie creative marker. Or actually, wait, hold on. Never mind. I'm not moving on to Cookie Monster. I'm moving on to Big Bird. So for Big Bird, his eyelids, believe it or not, are actually like lavender. So I did use a lavender Crayola Super Tip that I had. For his mouth, I wanted to do a little shading. So I used first orange on the edges, pink for the tongue, and I went in with an orange red for the inside of the mouth. And I think it looked really good. My blending technique, it was okay. It was okay. It was good. Now for Big Bird himself, I did use my yellow Sharpie creative marker. Or actually, wait, hold on. I'm still coloring the tongue. Oh my gosh, I'm like already speeding things up over here. I want to be done. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I remember when I was like thinking about Big Bird himself, I was like, is his beak orange or is it yellow? I can't remember, but I saw the reference photo and I was like, oh, his beak is actually yellow. Like he's a full-on yellow bird from head to toe. Actually, not toe because his feet are orange, but yeah, his beak is yellow, so I went all in with the yellow, and I think in the end, Big Bird turned out pretty good. Like he looked really good. Big Bird, I feel like is like the more optimistic character out of all the characters in Sesame Street. And like I said, you guys, there's like 150 characters now on Sesame Street. These are only the characters that I grew up with, and I know a lot of people grew up with. But excuse me. Sorry, sorry guys. I feel like these characters that I did here, they're like the more classic characters, and they're as classic gets. I know I mentioned some characters that are not in this drawing, like Count Von Count, the vampire character, Grover, who's like, oh my god, I love that dude. I love him. Who else? I remember because growing up in Mexico before I moved here to Arizona, there was a Mexican version of Sesame Street. They called it Plaza Sésamo, which is Sesame Street in Spanish. But they had other characters in it as well. I can't remember the names of those characters, but they were pretty different from the American version of Sesame Street. Okay, and now we're moving on to Cookie Monster, my other favorite character, finally. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for Cookie Monster, I went in with a blue Sharpie creative marker, and I think that this blue suits Cookie Monster. Like, I've seen the Cookie Monster t-shirt, which is just like the eyes and the mouth, and it has this shade of blue, so I wanted to go in with that. I know that he's a little more light, darkish blue, like he's right in the middle of the blue spectrum, but I wanted to pay homage to the Cookie Monster shirt and just do that. So, and I think it turned out pretty good. I think he turned out really, really good. And here's a fun fact. I have some Sesame Street fun facts for you guys. Did you know that Cookie Monster's birthday is November 2nd on the Day of the Dead? If you didn't know that, now you do. Now, if there's one thing that I feel like everybody can relate to when it comes to Cookie Monster, is their love for cookies. Oh yeah, I'm a cookie girl through and through. Heck yeah, like you give me chocolate chip cookies, it is on. Like that's me right there. All in all, this portrait came out really, really good. I was really happy with the result. And the reference photo that I had on my phone, it did show that it had like I think I mentioned this before in the voiceover, but I'm going to say it again. It had like a teal bluish background, and it said Sesame Street, and it said ABC 1 2 3 on the right. Like it said Sesame Street on the left, and it said 1 2 3 ABC on the right. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do the background just because I knew that the video was going to take forever if I did it. So I decided to not do it, which in the end, I think I made a pretty good choice. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, finally, we are moving on to the most satisfying part of the video, which is me removing the painter's tape. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. Look at that straight line. Oh my gosh. Like I said, you guys, I had a lot of fun with this portrait. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. And also, let me know in the comments down below what other screen cap study or portrait of whatever show you guys want to see me do next. And stay tuned for next week's video. We're going to be planning for February. And so, yeah, here is the final result. Alrighty, you guys, so here's once again the final result of the Sesame Street portrait that I did for you guys. I absolutely love how it came out, and I even love the white. Like, it just makes the characters stand out. In the reference photo that I pulled, it had like a blue-ish background, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to leave it plain white, and I think it looks really good. What do you guys think? It looks really, really good. So, as always, you guys, thank you for joining me on this artistic adventure. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe for more fun content like this one. And if you are going to comment in the comment section, please be nice. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below what other videos or screen cap studies or portraits you want to see me do next. Next week's video, however, is going to be a fun one. We are going back to the bullet journal videos. And we're going to do our February bullet journal setup. And I'm going to give you guys a hint for what's to come in that video. Let's just say that this superhero universe has the most awesome superheroes on the planet. Okay, so that's what's to come from my February bullet journal setup video. And as always, you guys, I love you, mwah, and bye, y'all.